as a talent to reassure that yes, he's comfortable with this, and yes, he can go above and beyond and deliver this. What you're asking for as a promoter, as a booker, as a boss, he is capable of this, and he wants to do this. So that helps so much. But at the same time, I got to still go out there and perform. It's one thing to just be like, some people can say like, oh, they're getting these opportunities because so-and-so, speaking of so-and-so. Everybody has, like, in all walks of every type of profession, whether it be pro wrestling, media, sports, whatever, there's always somebody in the room talking for said talent. Anywhere you go.
I'm tired of being humble. I'm tired of letting people think they got a chance. The tribal chief is head and shoulders above everybody.
Hey, we here at the locker room. This is Toss Rain Scandal. We're going to talk about why Swerve Strickland rose to the top in AEW. We'll talk about how Swerve became AEW champ so fast. Now, we know that Swerve Strickland, he has put in the work. He has been in NXT, Lucha, Divide. He's been all over of independent wrestling. I'm not taking nothing away from him. I know he's putting the work. But I do notice when he arrived at AEW back in 2022, he did first capture the World Tag Team belts with Keith Lee, but within a 2-year span, he became the AEW World Champion. And I know AEW, they play the politic game over there. I know they have their pillars and they have everything going over there for them. Swerve, considering not an original pillar, how did he pass the line so fast to become AEW World Champion? Now, I know here it says that because of Will Washington, he is his real-life cousin, and I know he is a creative director or whatever title they call him. He started last year AEW Wrestling Administrative Coordinator. He is a real-life cousin of Swerve, and it's the reason why he is in the position he's in. He helps write for Swerve, and he's helped write for him becoming AEW World Champion, and he writes for all black wrestlers in AEW. There'll be interviews by Will Washington with Denise Salcedo. Even Swerve Strickland talked about this on Fightful Wrestling. And it's also some controversy regarding this. I know the Acclaimed made a rap song about them. And also Devon from the legendary Dudley Boys in WWE, he talks about Will Washington as well. But, let's listen to those interviews now.
Yo, scissoring, only thing bringing world peace. Man, you got your family up in the dirt sheets. Fake stories talk about how esteemed you are. Only a snake would align with the media.
People tiptoeing around Will Washington. Here we go.
Tony Khan said that one of the dirt sheet writers confided in him that somebody from WWE PR floated this story, and it wasn't true, that AEW had an agreement in principle with WBD.
WWE is not worried about Tony Khan. I can tell you that right off the bat. They ain't worried about him. Tony Khan is too busy worried about WWE. Someone who I admire very well in this business that works for AEW is Swerve. Great guy, but I do know that his cousin, I think it is, who's a dirt sheet writer who basically is in Tony's ear a lot, that might have been the one that basically...
And so, Duke, we're not, you call it out too. You're like, hey man, you're talking about obviously Will. Who else could it be, right? So it's not like Devon went and was like, man, screw Will Washington. But he put it out there, and it's kind of easy to figure out, do the math and figure out who it is, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so here, we'll get the rest of this clip here. And then, I want your thoughts.
Pretty much said that to him. If it was Swerve's cousin that said that to him, which probably was, as far as I'm concerned, from my understanding, from people in the locker room, the 3 times I was there in the meetings, every single person said he's a snake. And they don't know why Tony Khan is trusting him. I don't know him personally, but in what I've seen and his demeanor and all that, I got to tend to agree that they're probably right. He can write whatever he wants to say about me, but the bottom line is everybody in that locker room thinks that you're a snake. And if you're a snake, then if they think that, then chances are you probably are.
Swerve's cousin, I'm assuming you're talking Will Washington, who Tony Khan hired.
When I've asked the questions, who is that guy? I've gotten the same response from every.
I find that so funny. He's like, nah, I asked. I'm like, whose man's is this? That's what he said. He's like, I'm on the Jericho cruise, and I'm like, who's this motherfucker? I keep seeing him everywhere. I love that. I think that's hilarious.
Everybody. Even when I was on the Jericho cruise and his name came up, that was what was being said. And, again, I'm not going out there saying anything bad about him, but I'm telling you what the perception is about him within the company that he works for. And these are people that say,
Wow.
well, I'm nice to him because if I'm not nice to him, he'll go to Tony, say something, I'm off for TV. So I don't say anything.
Boom. And so shout out Devon, man, one of the GOATs. And he's just keeping it real, and then it sort of comes out Britt Baker suspended.
I don't really know. Play stupid here, but the funny thing, because she was going to do that from the beginning of this interview, and that's what I was like.
Wrestling administrative coordinator,
yes.
right? I didn't say it in the beginning because I forgot the title.
Because so here's the funny thing, and I think it is interesting that I'm never going to mask the fact that you and I are super close. We are. When I talk about list of besties, Denise here is probably in the high top threes, right? And so, you know what I do. Now you'll never know the secrets, but you at least know what my job is on a regular basis. You know what it is I do, and so I think when you see stuff that I do get mischaracterized online, it's right off the bat, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. But at the end of the day, and that's fine. I appreciate that. I appreciate that I am in a position where, if you listen to Unrestricted, I talk a lot about some of the stuff I get to produce, some of the stuff I get to work on. And then I'll hear things like, oh, Will was responsible for this entire show. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Do you know, we have a team. There's an entire team of people who work on these things, and things are delegated, and it is all overseen by our one. We have the one booker who oversees everything, and that is Tony Khan. And I think I truly do believe in Tony Khan as a leader. It's not one of those things where it's it's not like a kissing up to your boss kind of thing, because at the end of the day, one, have you ever been employed before? I think people should do that. But mostly what it is I genuinely think Tony Khan is a brilliant man. I think that, and I tell him this all the time, he is because Tony is somebody I also consider a friend. And I considered him a friend before I ever worked for AEW. And so he is somebody that I love just talking wrestling with. He's somebody that I love kind of bouncing ideas back and forth with. He is somebody that I love getting feedback from and giving feedback to, and getting to work with him on a regular basis. I actually, genuinely, I mean this. And I know people would question me actually saying this. I tell him this all the time. I think Tony Khan's instincts for professional wrestling are actually stronger than anybody ever gives him credit for. Genuinely.
Well, it's one of those things where you got to think, right? We're talking about a company that's been around for 5 years. And if you didn't have someone that had those instincts and that cared about it, not only just cared about it, right? But had those instincts, then it wouldn't have gotten as far.
And that was a lot from the interviews, talking about Will Washington from Devon. Then Swerve talk about Will Washington being AEW. That's crazy, though. But Swerve Strickland, one of the main reasons why he's been a huge success in AEW is because Will Washington is in the creative team, and he's Swerve Strickland's cousin, and he has the advantage. And I know Swerve said in the interview that it's business, and he still has to put in the hard work. Swerve is 100% right about that. Yes, despite someone vouching for you, you still have to put in the work. But let's not act like Swerve Strickland has not reaped the benefits of having his cousin Will Washington AEW. Like I said, once again, not a knock on Swerve as far as he's not a great wrestler, a great talent. He is. I'm just saying he had a little boost. And this is no different, like Swerve said, in WWE. No different than any other wrestling promotion, or back in WCW days, or NWA, or whatever company it is. I'm saying in this case, Swerve Strickland is the one who could be labeled as getting favoritism and getting the full advantage of having nepotism, someone's family in the company. And that's all I have regarding why Swerve Strickland rose to the top in AEW. We're also talking about how Swerve became AEW champ so fast. You guys let me know what you think of the interviews. And do you think Swerve rose to the top real quick, or is just perfect timing? Because I know there's also play a factor where he became champion, injuries, etc., etc. Soon to videos will pop up, guys. You guys click the links below. You guys already know what it is at this point. It is OUT.